Video 2.
So here it says a person, so the Ors.163.375 states that rape is a person who has sexual intercourse with another. Another doesn't signify age here. Another doesn't signify male or female. So it could be an infant, child molestation. It could be anybody from 1 to 100, okay? So it says here a person who has sexual intercourse with another person commits the crime of rape in the first degree if the victim is subjected to forcible compulsion by the person, if, that's A. B, if the victim is under the years of 12 age. C, if the victim is 16 years of age and is the person's sibling, that is a brother or sister of the whole, that means half-brother or half-sister or half-blood, the person's child or the person's spouse's child. And I was on C, the victim is 16 years of age and is the person's sibling of the whole or the half. When I was living in Seattle, Washington, I was in a trailer. In the trailer, I was molested every night. And I believe that's where my siblings were given permission and my mother was given permission to do the raping by Gabriel and Guy Franklin, by John MacArthur and his staff. So a person who has sexual intercourse with another person commits a crime of rape in the first degree if the victim is 16 years of age and is the person's sibling of the whole or the half, a blood relative of a person's child, or a person's spouse's child. So you marry someone and you start having sex with that person's child who is 16 years of age and under, and they're saying it's not by consent, it's by force. So when I was 16, like I said, I was in the group home and didn't know that I was being molested. And yes, RKO knew probably about it, some of the workers there. And some of the workers there were probably representing Gabriel Franklin and John MacArthur through the community, probably representing the Princess of Wales there. So, you know, this family that I've been dealing with, the Windsors, for the last 40 years, this has been the door that they've chosen to enter through, so I could claim homosexuality as a way of life. And in so doing, in claiming homosexuality as a way of life, then they can put me under Gabriel and put me under, I guess, slavery. I'm not exactly sure. That seems to be where it's gone. In any case, by compulsion through the community. And then finally, the victim is incapable. Number D here, it says a person commits the crime of rape in the first degree if the victim is incapable of consent by reason of mental defect, mental incapacitation, or physical helplessness. And that's what I've been reporting to the Portland Police Department. This is what I've been telling the police department since I've got here. Since I actually turned on Gabriel to say, what are you doing to my body? The same as Tom Sullivan turned and says to me, what are you doing, Ernie? Under the voice of Melinda MacArthur, under the voice of Gabriel Franklin as a youth, I was told to write a letter declaring my lust, my love, my desire to have intercourse and to carry the child of a white boy named Kevin Pfeiffer. And then they led me, in my mind, to do what? To touch on Tom. And then they led me, in my mind, to do what? To take food at Safeway. And then they led me, in my mind, to go where? Where, everybody? To go to the sex stores, Taboo. To go to the sex stores, Mr. Pete, where they have it all set up with males. I don't know if it's a Spanish male, a black male, a white male, Asian male, Indian male, and I'm supposed to recognize their faces. this is the mode, and I'm supposed to do whatever it is that homosexuals do. Oh, do they have the videos and the pictures? But we're talking about rape here, right? And of course, after they set it up, I get my ration of it when I'm asleep. She comes and I'm incapacitated, and she uses it and uses it and uses it and uses it, like she did last night, like she did the night before, and the night before, 2 times. Who is she? Gabriel. Who is she? I don't know, Dion. Who is she? Mona. Who is she? Gila. Who is she? Karel. Who is she? My mom. Who is she? Esther. Who is she? Katiana. I mean, I have no idea who and when these Haitian women come in. But there's a conglomeration of them, and they use it, and they use it, and they use it, and they use it, and they use it while I'm incapacitated. So all the years that they didn't catch up to give it to me, oh, they gave it to me. They gave it to me this past week, yesterday, all week long. But let me finish this thing here. So number 2, it says rape in the first degree is a class A felony. And then it has a bunch of numbers here. Dates, 1971, 1989, and 1991. I guess these are cases where examples perhaps of when this crime has been committed and been taken to court. So this is Oregon's ORS 163.375 first degree stance on rape. It is a class A felony, and if a person if it's by force, if they're under the age of 12, if they're 16 years of age and it's a family member, it's a half-blood, it's a full-blood, it's a child of a person that is married to, and if you're incapacitated or mentally you're incapable of responding, right? A person who is perhaps slow and can't defend themselves. Or if you're like me, you're dead asleep and they're just giving it to you. You know, they're pumping Viagra to harden your cock, and they're pumping something to keep you sedated and asleep. I set my alarm clock to wake up at 6 a.m., but I can't wake up because whatever that they had put in my body is still wanting me to sleep. And I can still feel the hardness of my genital, and I'm thinking, why am I so hard? I didn't have sex with anybody last night. My cock is thronging in pain because of how much she's taken it, she's jerked it, she used it. Gabrielle Franklin, AKA your Queen of England. I wonder how much sex William has gotten out of that old woman since his mother has died. In any case, rape, a sin or a crime. To Oregon state law, to Oregon's revised status law here, it is a crime. It is a crime that needs to be punished as a Class A felony. Now, we've dealt with the rape as a crime, but what about a sin? Is rape a sin? Right? Is rape in America in the 21st century, as loose as we are as a people, is it a sin? Is it okay for grandpa to come into the bedroom of the granddaughters at night to have sex with them? Is it okay for grandma to babysit and to turn the babysitting session, or I'll raise that boy of yours, that sissy boy, that sassy boy of yours, but then at night when the lights are out and he's dead asleep and she has the syringe in her hands, it's a whole different matter. She's not as angry as she used to be, and she's using the boy, right? And of course she gives him a girlfriend that looks just like her in the high school, or another boy, you know, to kind of give him somebody to play with so she's not feeling as guilty. So is rape a sin? Let's turn to 2 Samuel 13, 1 through 16. When you go to 2 Samuel 13, 1 through 16, you know the story. It's the story of Amnon and Tamar, right? You know the story of David. David who had Uriah, I think Uriah the Hittite killed so that David could take his wife Bathsheba. Right? So you know the story of David. His family is not clean when it comes to sexual assaults because he killed for the woman. And then when the woman gave birth to a child, when the woman gave birth to a child and to other children, and I guess I'm mixing apples and oranges here, no children of Bathsheba was raped, but I guess one of the daughters of David was raped by one of the sons. Tamar was raped by Absalom. And here is the story here. Verse 1 of 2 Samuel 13. It says this: Now it was after this that Absalom, the son of David, had a beautiful sister whose name was Tamar, and Amnon, the son of David, loved her. Amnon was so frustrated because of his sister Tamar that he made himself ill, for she was a virgin, and it seemed hard to Amnon to do anything to her. But Amnon had a friend whose name was Jonadab, the son of Shimea, David's brother, and Jonadab was a very shrewd man. He said to him, O son of the king, why are you so depressed morning after morning? Will you not tell me? Then Amnon said to him, I am in love with Tamar, the sister of my brother Absalom. So verse 5, Jonadab